Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
are you ready?
Hello, I'm Amelia Marie, and this is Just Got Real. Joining me
Armani Amezcua and Mr. Luis Rodriguez. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Doing great.
Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful. So today's topic of our show is coming clean and your truth. How about that?
Pressure's on. Pressure's on.
Yes.
Well, indeed it is, Armani, because the first thing I was going to do is he who speaks first goes first. So dun, dun, dun. Are you ready to get real with us and talk to us truly about what your truth is? Come clean with it.
I guess, yeah. I guess, and it's a little nerve-wracking. I'll be honest with you. You know, coming up and people things that are so intimate, and but the good thing is that we're all together, and there's a lot of people out there that are going through the same thing. So that is the reason why we're talking about this. The last couple months have been pretty pivotal for me with regards to the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and the invitations that I get whenever you're part of a nucleus of energy where people want to improve their lives, whether it be business or personal. And you know, one thing is getting invited to be a part of it, but that is just the first step, because I didn't realize that it's also a process that really has nothing to do with the people that are around you, but everything revolves back around ourselves. And by that I mean, you know, we've been talking about accountability, about, you know, the past episodes I've talked about my health and what I need to do to be able to be here for a long time. And, you know, I used my motivation. The motivation was with my daughter, and, you know, I shared that about wanting to be here for her wedding and everything else that happens after that. That was the motivation. And sometimes you think that motivation in itself is going to get you through what you need to do, but it's not. There's a lot more to it. And what I realized the last two months or so is that you have people that you surround yourself with. They hold you accountable. But what I realized amongst inside me is I was not letting them in completely. And that happened because I was stubborn. Now, there's different kinds of stubborn, but the stubborn that I'm talking about came from the fact that I was very upset with the way I find myself now. And I felt the stubborn came to the point where it's like, I'd be damned if I'm going to let other people tell me what I need to do with my own body. That's the attitude that I had. And it got me upset. And almost to the point where I was embarrassed that I have to rely on other people's help for me to understand and do what I got to do. So even though I was part of a group, I would shut myself out and say, you know what, I am going to do it. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it the way that I see fit, because I am the one that put myself in this mess. But I had a moment where I realized that the stubbornness was taking over for me, letting people into my circle, letting them then deeper than where we were at just on the conversation level, but more learning my struggles inside me. And when I let that out, it was a pretty powerful moment for me. And I bring this up and I want to share it with everyone, because I know everyone's going through things where, whether it be health, whether it be a career change, whether it be with family, whether it be marriage, whether it be raising your kids, you know, there's so many things that we go through in life, but sometimes we just don't want to hear it.
Absolutely.
We feel that we ourselves are the ones that should be doing it. But
yes,
we need help.
Yeah, thank you, Armani, for sharing that with us. I mean, so I think, Louis, what we heard you say is your truth is stubbornness. Is that what we heard you say? Because that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's it right there.
And one thing I want to add along from being stubborn sometimes too, Armani, would it be fair to say too, also in denial?
I think denial, I would say a little bit of that as well, because I am lucky that I have beautiful people in my life that accept me for who I am, right? I have never been judged for anything other than what I have in my heart.
Yeah.
And that's why not that many people are blessed to be around people like that. So, but when you're around that and people love you unconditionally, and no matter what shape or form you're in, it's that solid core is there. That is a beautiful thing to have. But sometimes that can blind what you and you yourself have to do to benefit you to make yourself better. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Yeah.
Wow.
This is monumental. I'm still
C-
processing it.
Completely monumental. Thank you for being so real and honest with us. You said my way, and I could hear Frank Sinatra singing that song, I Want It My Way. And so, I mean, it's so funny because you're saying my way. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
And you're making it's so truth when we think about doing things our way. Is it a crutch to not have to be accountable to others?
That is what I think it happened. Absolutely.
Like, I'm good. Are you good, or do you just not want to feel the pain through getting through what you're going through?
Yeah, you don't want to feel the pain because you want to. You're embarrassed. You're totally embarrassed by it, and you're upset at yourself for letting it all go like that. And now you're like, man, if I got myself in this hole, I have to get myself out. That's the attitude that I have, or that I had. But
And we're talking about your health here when we're so just so our listeners understand, we're looking at your health and saying you're saying this is how did I let myself get here?
So it's definitely a process, and once you get to the core, the core blocks of what's keeping you from progressing, you just have to know that you need help to realize the things that you need to do yourself. There's nothing bad or wrong about that. But I think it also comes with upbringing. As I was growing up and stuff like that, my dad was like, figure it out. No, don't rely on anyone. Do it yourself. Figure it out. That's how I grew up. So my dad made me a strong man, but at the same time, maybe a little too strong.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with our group. And Louis, you're next. I mean, share with our listeners, what is your truth? And, how have you been working through that and coming to that realization?
Well, I'll say this, during this pandemic, I've had a lot of time to reflect. And my truth is that I realized that in a lot of aspects of my life, like, you're just kind of showing up, right? You're not like fully all in. It's kind of like where you're kidding yourself. You're just not in the game. You're not all in. And it was just showing up in every part of my life. And I think I was able just to get to a point where I took full responsibility for that. I mean, even if we're doing the podcast right now, I can see the little scar here. And if you guys look back to, I think it was episode 1, where I said I was going through some health issues, right? But during that time, I just realized that for the first time in my life, when I had my surgery, I was putting my life in someone else's hands. I no longer was in control. And, your mind starts playing games with you. But I'm very thankful that I went through that, because I don't think I've ever felt that vulnerable in my life. And, there was a commitment where I faced the truth of like, okay, I know I can do better. There's too many things that are still kind of left undone and unsaid, like unaccomplished. But I think being able to face the truth that, well, you know what? How can I say this, guys? And I'm having a hard time getting it out. Because Armani, you can relate with me. Just a week ago, if you guys remember, we were all having a conversation about our truths, right? Some of the truths.
Mm-hmm.
But I think being able to come clean with yourself that you're falling short in all these areas, mm-hmm. where you no longer take life for granted. You no longer take opportunities for granted. You no longer take relationships for granted. It's like you finally realize, man, I truly got like one shot at this thing. And when Armani talks about health, I mean, that's been a lifelong struggle for me. But I'm okay saying I've struggled with my health. But now I can put it in front of you, our viewers, that, you know what, enough is enough. Like, I need to see this through. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of us victimize ourselves, and we don't really claim to be, I declare to be that instead of being a victim, I'm going to be a victor. And I have made the decision to become a victor and be able to overcome in all of these areas in my life. You know what I mean? Including my health, because I finally realized when you talk about mind, body, and soul, one of them cannot be off. Because if one's off, you're going to struggle. It's like the way you feel, that's the way you show up. And I look back now, it's like, well, no wonder I would show up that way. If I'm not feeling good about myself, how am I going to be able to perform at a high level? Especially all of us, we're in a leadership position, right? We're leading others. So I think now my truth is it's time for me to start leading by example. And I got to lead myself in every area of my life, because at the same time, I have little ones that are looking at me. And it's time that I set the example. That's my truth.
Well, that's an amazing truth to come. I mean, lead by example, but when you are the example, to truly just you opened. I mean, I know why you could have a hard time getting it out, because I've like gravitated to that. Was you're leading by example, but you are the example, so you have to step it up even higher.
Yes, and I mean, even if you look back, again, I know that we're now really coming out and sharing this. It was important. I mean, that's why we call it Just Got Real for a reason, right? But I can feel the emotions, the way they started to kind of, when we were sitting at the table. As a matter of fact, what was it? Exactly almost a week ago. Yeah. Right? But we saved it for this moment because Armani, hit the nail on the head. Accountability is big. And for us to really come here, now we're holding ourselves accountable, not only with us three, but with you, our viewer, the audience. Like, now there's no turning back. Right?
Absolutely.
It is hard. It is hard.
It's hard, but I think one of the things too is taking for granted the support that's around us.
Yes.
That was key, I think, because you get to the point where you realize people actually care about me. People actually care about me. And you're not, one thing you expect that from family, but when it's outside that circle, and you feel that love and that interest for you to succeed, outshine anything else that you've ever felt in your life, you're like, damn, this is something different. And and all of us have those people around us. Mm-hmm. It's up to us to engage and to let them in.
Exactly, and not take them for granted.
Yeah.
Not take them for granted. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be honest. It's okay to say, hey, I'm falling short with myself. Yeah. And it's okay to lean on someone. Sometimes the greatest gift that you can give someone is these ears right here. Just to be able to have someone that will listen to you and that can relate. All of us can relate with each other here. And I'm sure our viewers out there, they all have their own struggles and their own trials and tribulations. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why we came together and did this podcast, that, this is us being real. We're going through these motions right now. If you're going through these same motions yourself, guess what? You're not alone. We're here with you as well.
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So now, Amelia, I hate to kind of turn this around now, but I know Armani has shared his truth, and I know there's going to be a lot more to what we're going to talk about, and I've shared my truth. So, I mean, now when it comes to Amelia Marie, I mean, I don't mean to put you on the hot seat, but like, what's Amelia's truth? Where's
my heart is racing because I knew I was next.
I know you started getting a little shiny here, so I know what you mean.
Oh, okay. Well, I love what is your truth. For me, I like to have everything in its place. Everything has a time, everything has a place, and dreams know no bounds. Everything is possible. That is the way I live my life. Everything is possible. If everything negative is possible, and they say if it can happen, it will happen, well, you know what? I think of that in the positive way too. And when I woke up one morning and I said, where's my lazy river behind my house? Where is it? Where's my 1.5 acre property? Where am I? I knew where I was, and I'm blessed to be where I am. But I didn't have the things that I have set out to say are my possibilities. And I thought, why? I didn't blame anyone, but I looked in the mirror and said, step up, Amelia Marie. What are you doing? And I had that realization 1 week, 2 weeks went by trying to figure it out, because you best believe I told everybody, where are these things in my life? Why aren't they here yet? I've been the one to help people say it is possible. So why haven't I made those things possible for myself? I was sitting at the coffee table and my son comes in, he goes, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm just working on a few things. It was a Saturday. And he looked at me and he said, you are one of the most inspirational people I know. He goes, I love to hear you. You push me so hard and you push my friends so hard. And we do things that we sometimes didn't even believe we could do. And I've seen people come in and out of our door that you've pushed hard and they've accomplished their dreams. You need to push yourself just as hard as you push everyone else. He goes, just know that I have so much confidence in you. And I just stood there in awe, and he left. And that day was a total day of reconciliation for me. And I said, what are my dreams? Where am I? And what's going on with me? And the biggest word that stuck out was complacency. Being comfortable can sometimes be the biggest curse we have. I got comfortable being comfortable. So I just got to a point where I said, you know what? Let's get uncomfortable, because I know that's where success is. So that is my truth, gentlemen. I know it's been a crazy road. And last year, we were told to put on our cozies and buckle up for the year. So I got comfortable being comfortable. Complacency. And I would really like to I know that in our second topic, it was, how did you realize it? And how are you dealing with it? I'd love to share that with you guys, because I've really taken that journey. And when I thought to myself, how are you going to deal with this? I said, take control of your situation. Don't let your situation take control of you. And remember, people say, well, you're being emotional about it. Guess what? Emotion creates motion. You got to get a little bit of emotion behind it. You can shed some tears. You can be angry at yourself. You can be embarrassed. It's an emotion that will set you into motion. That's when you know it's working. So what I did is I grabbed a copy of The Compound Effect. I sat there for about 4 hours and I read the whole book. And then I did every exercise in the book. And I said, okay, my time starts now. From this day forward, I work out every day. I go to work. I do my job to 100% satisfaction every day. I come home. I love my family, but then I focus on my dreams. And if I let myself off the hook, how am I going to look my bonus son, someone that God placed in my life, in the eyes and say, I couldn't even come through for myself? That is my why. It is my purpose to prove to my family that I pushed them hard because I pushed myself hard. So we can accomplish everything that we set out to accomplish and realize that the good things in life are possible. So those were the steps I took, and it's been a wild ride. There's been days where I don't want to stick to the schedule. There's a donut in my trash can right now. I took one bite of it this morning and I tossed it away, but it was my favorite type. But that's not in my compass of good living. So I always feel like 2 bites would have been 2 steps further away from my goal and where I wanted to be. So I know, gentlemen, you have had your realizations. And I know we're all in different areas of those realizations, but I guess we'll go around the table again and ask you, Armani, as soon as you realized that stubbornness was part of your truth and something that was really holding you back, how are you taking control of that situation?
Well, I tore it down because what happened was I got super angry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the most angry I've been at myself in a pretty long time. I'd say maybe 25. I remember the last time I got that way. But since then, everything's been on cruise control. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got to a point now that once I felt that anger, and it came very spontaneously, it came with a conversation that was a real deep conversation, and the challenge that was being, whenever the people that are around you get in your face,
Mm-hmm.
and you have nowhere to turn, the anger just started. But then after that, I'm angry inside my head, and the person's right across from me or beside me, and they're still there, and they're just waiting. They're waiting to hear why. What's going on? Why aren't you engaging? And that was a realization for me, because that anger, as much as it was at 110% of just like, it just, you see that heart sitting in front of you, you see the heart sitting beside you, and then you're just like, what am I doing? Why am I letting this cloud what's in front of me? And it's basically a reflection in the mirror. That's what it was. So that's how I felt that moment and how it changed.
Would I be wrong in knowing that Lewis and I were your confronting forces?
Oh, nah.
I still have the perfect shot of him looking over.
No, yeah, you guys were the force. Yeah, the force.
But I can say, correct me if I'm wrong, I know it was a defining moment for him because you felt the shift in that gathering. You felt him really coming clean with himself.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him that upset. But the nice thing that Armani, I got to tell you right now, my hat's off to you, is that the way that you redirected that energy, it's what Emilia just said right now. You took action with it. You didn't blame. You didn't do anything. You got upset, but I know your decision was made right there to change it.
Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes people see it as an intervention, but it wasn't. That wasn't the case. It was an honest. We were there to have, a drink and celebrate. Just the fact that we were able to get together, and it turned into something like that. And the beauty of it is the most unexpected thing happened, and it was the breakthrough. It was a breakthrough from an honest conversation. There was no intent. The intent just happened mutually.
And it was beautiful. And I think that's what we want to do with our viewers, is be able to be that mirror and say, what is your truth? Like we asked Armani, and it was not a simple, Lewis, do you remember? It wasn't a simple conversation. It was uncomfortable. Yeah. And we were, wouldn't you say, I think we were in his face a little bit, and we didn't let him off the hook.
Correct. And we had been letting him off the hook, but remember, I think we finally reminded ourselves, I mean, we tell our team all the time, you owe your clients the truth. Mm-hmm. Confront, right? And here we are, we weren't confronting him. So it's like, remember, Amelia, we're saying, what a disservice, what kind of a relationship, what kind of a friendship do we have with one another if we can't even tell each other the truth, because we're coming from a place of intention to help the person. Yeah. But that's where I feel like the breakthrough happened there, but it was like all the way around. We finally just told each other our truths.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here now.
Absolutely. And, so in saying that, Lewis.
Oh, man.
How did you come to realize it, but how are you truly taking control of your truth, and how are you being guided in your day-to-day life by it?
I always say that documentation beats conversation, right? Mm-hmm. I feel the way I realized it was just analyzing all these different areas in my life, right? And you guys say it's what you look in the mirror, like that's the result right there. I think physically looking at the mirror, I mean, it's not being in denial anymore, right? accepting that the decisions I have made in the past have put me where I'm at, meaning what I'm seeing. And then looking at every other area of my life. Again, documentation, results don't lie, right? And that's just, I think, what it goes back to is the level of disciplines, the actions, and all of it give those results. So I think that's where I was able to see, okay, this is my truth. Here's where I'm at. And how am I correcting it? Well, I'll say that a big one. I'm going to say it flat out. For example, the three of us have an accountability. A week ago, we took a picture of how much we weigh, right? When we're talking about our health. Well, I'm already mindful that guess what? Tomorrow, right? Got to take a picture and it's time to come clean. And I have to let my accountability partners know what progress I'm making. And guess what? Now the decisions of, you know, drinking water and not drinking the wrong stuff and inputting the right things into my body and into my mind, the results will speak for themselves when I come clean and weigh myself tomorrow, right? So I think we've put a lot of the accountability in place, and that's big of why we're nipping a lot of these things in the bud. I now have guidance and coaches in different aspects of my life that are also holding me accountable. And I'm one that once I set my eyes on something, you can't stop me. But now it's, I can look at both of you here on camera and say, I'm all in. I'm like, I'm leaving it all out on the field. That's how I'm correcting it. Accountability.
That's powerful. Amelia, you said something the other day that really captivated me. You said, you were talking about, imagine whenever your mind, your body, and your soul are at their best peak.
Oh yeah.
And imagine how you are going to feel when that moment's happening. You could take over the world. You could do what you have to do. You walk into a room and you're going to say, I'm here. You know, that to me caught my attention. Like, I didn't tell you, but I was like, after you left, and to this day, I'm still thinking about, that is the goal. That is what I want to feel.
It's so funny that you say that, because that's been my goal: body, mind, and soul. And so many times we let go. We think, we're taught from a young age that we can't have it all. Have you ever heard people say that? Well, you can't have it all. No, I'm going to have it all, because I'm not asking anybody to give it to me. I'm willing to work for it and strive for it. And yes, the one key to those things falling apart, it starts with a D. No, it's not being dumb. It's doubt. Doubt creeps in and says, body, you're not in the right place. Mind, you're not in the right place. Soul, I don't really have time to meditate. But that's the only thing that stands between you and that other F word, fear. Doubt creates fear. So let's stop at doubt when we're thinking body, mind, and soul. What is body, mind, and soul for you guys? I mean, I know you're not prepared for me to ask that one, so I'll take it first and then think about what you guys do, body, mind, and soul. Every morning I wake up, I put my feet on the ground, I look out the shutters, and I make sure they're cracked a little bit before I go to bed so the sun will peek in. Just a little bit. And I'm thankful to see the light of day every single morning. That little crack through the shutters, I'm grateful to see the light of day. That is my mind starting on a positive note. There's a treadmill right next to my bed. I don't like it there. Everything in my feng shui says put it in the garage, but that's part of my body. That's part of what I have to do to stay in motion for the people I want to serve. So I get on that treadmill. I don't like being on it. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm a crazy person through my window, running by, dancing by, but it's for who I want to be. My soul, it all happens in a small space, because I want to step into that space every morning. I lay on the floor. and I allow myself to meditate. And everybody asks me, Amelia, how do you meditate? I've tried so many meditation routines. Do you know, sometimes I meditate to country music. Sometimes I meditate to jazz. And I fall into a manifestation of where I want to be. It doesn't have to be, there's no rules when it comes to body, mind, or soul. Sometimes my soul is just being with my family and watching a Harry Potter movie. That's not a spiritual, well, maybe, but it's not this spiritual thing, but it's spiritual in here because it's spending time with the ones that you love and understanding that you're guilt-free doing it because you've taken care of every other area of your life. I have no guilt sitting there eating a bag of popcorn because I know that every day I strive to put the right things in my body. So maybe if we're going to sprinkle a little bit of caramel over it, it's okay that night. So that's how I go with my day. And I always say to people, if you see me kind of flying a little bit lower, ask me. Because I ask everybody, how are you doing today? And if they say, okay, I dig a little bit deeper. You guys know that for a fact. So I'm going to go to Lewis on this one. Lewis, how are you taking control, body, mind, and soul?
There's similarities to what we're talking about. For example, when I wake up, what's the first thing that most of us do? We reach for our phone, right? Now it's like that's away from me. I have a set of affirmations that I do. I mean, first of all, when I wake up, after you go through this whole thing that I went through, you appreciate life a lot more. So I'm similar to what you do, that I'm very thankful and grateful that I have the ability to open my eyes and breathe and be alive. I think a lot of us tend to kind of take that for granted because that's the gift that we get every day, right? So it's being grateful, thankful. And then the first thing I do, the second thing I do is I do affirmations. They're very specific affirmations that have to do with health, family, business, what contribution, spiritual. They're very specific things that I affirm. And there's goals that I've set for myself. It's a constant embedding and strengthening my mind and reminding me what my purpose, what my why, my vision, and so forth is. I also give myself permission in those affirmations to basically set the intention and get everything that I want in life, because I feel that we've been put on this planet for a reason, and it gives us a power of choice, and I choose to be powerful and choose to win. And I also do a lot of visualization, and part of it in my affirmations to be thankful and read my Bible daily and really work on my spiritual life, you know? So when you start that way, it really sets the intention and it dictates the rest of the day. That's how I feed my soul and my mind. You know, when you talk about soul, it's learning to really love yourself, embrace yourself, really dig deep and know who you truly are and why you're here on this planet, you know? And part of the affirmations, like right now I'm thinking where I'm falling short. When I'm falling short, it's that I work out 5 days a week. I may not be doing that yet, but it's the level of awareness where you realize, man, I'm BSing myself. I'm saying that I should be working out 5 days a week, but the reality is I'm not. But I feel like the more aware you are, the more action you're going to take towards it. Because my old business partner used to say this, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it's true. If I'm falling short there, then that little thing shows up in other parts of your life. So it's balancing the mind, body, and soul that's become very critical. I want to make sure before it's my time to say goodbye to planet Earth, I just want to make sure that I can say, man, I'm physically fit, because we only get one temple. You have to take care of it. It's not like I can go trade it in and say, hey, Armani and Amelia, come with me. We're going to go buy me a new body. Like, we can't do that. Yeah. Right? Only one. So
no, you're up.
That's my daily method of operation in those 3 areas.
You know, Lewis, you kind of can buy a new body nowadays, but no, we're not going to go there.
Oh, yeah, right.
And coming to our spot.
Sorry, I was in the zone. I didn't think about that.
And look, Amelia, I got the light. The light's shining.
Yes,
it's a
the
sign.
sun. The sun is shining.
Yes.
So going, and you know why it's shining, because you're next. So body, mind, and soul. I know that you're entering in on this journey, Armani. What has it been? Some of the key elements to start putting this together. And I think as a lot of our listeners are just now starting to put key elements of those three components together. What has been your starting point in this?
Well, I think one of them was starting what my weaknesses were.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason why I was the way I was? Why I handled things a certain way? My realization was that I am one that makes sure that everyone else is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And with that attitude, mind you, the goal, I have a conflicting goal in life. And I've always said this, and I think I've said this with you guys, is the day that I die, at my funeral, I want as many people there as possible. That is like my core goal, because it'll show how I lived my life and how I was able to touch that many people, right? But in doing so, it's also a curse, because it's actually going to make that day come sooner if I don't adjust it a little bit, right? And it's funny. It's funny now as we're talking about it, but that is my weakness. I don't plan my days when it comes to me. I plan my days according to how I am needed and how I can help. That is the biggest problem I have, something that I have been addressing. I have a great coach who has helped me shift my mindset to scheduling, to putting things in a plan. My meals, for example, we're talking about health. My meals were very spontaneous. I didn't plan, and I've been like that since walking to junior high school in the morning. That's how it's always been. I don't plan it. It just happens. When I need it, I go get it. But it's the convenience factor. That is at the core what it is. The convenience factor overtakes anything else, and it's the easy way out. Lewis, you came up with an idea, or you told me something months ago, where it's like, man, we're actively working the day. We got appointments to go to, people to meet. Oh, I got 15, 20 minutes to go to get something to eat. What do? The easiest way to go. You go through a drive-through.
Drive-through.
Why can't I make that same energy, which I did earlier this week, and I told Amelia, I just went to a local grocery store, went into the fresh food section, and they have these a deli, and you can have a fresh salad. I did that. And I actually saved a little bit of money.
Good for you.
I had to get out of the car. I had to go there, buy it, $6, go back, go to the house real quick, let the dog out, run around, do his thing, and come back to the office, and I'm good. The same action, just a different way of doing it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Can you see me wanting to jump out of my seat right now?
I know. I'm like, I want to clap as he's saying that. Yes.
Okay. You guys don't know I'm going to do this.
Uh-oh.
Realizing your truth works. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm speaking to you guys and our audience right now. These three people 2 months ago were in such a different space, including myself, in our lives. As leaders, we were telling ourselves the wrong story.
Yeah.
And when we started telling ourselves the right story, look at all these things that are changing in our lives. Beautiful body, mind, soul, success. I get to do more. I get to be more. Next week, I want you to realize that this will work, and we can help you do the same thing that we're doing that's working for us and truly giving each and every one of us more success. I've seen more success in the last 3 weeks, financially, spiritually, emotionally, than I have seen in years. So wouldn't you say, guys, what we're doing is working?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
And for you guys to believe that, I'm going to take you back 3 months ago. There is a show that we put out, we recorded, that when we saw it, we would not even put out. And the title of that show is what, you guys?
Death.
Armani, the first thing that I thought was death.
Yes.
So very grim.
let's do this. For those of you who have watched this show and have seen you're going to see this transformation that is so beautiful, that when you get your mindset in line with your goals and the opportunity that's in front of you, financially, spiritually, emotionally, you can have your life back. Would you guys say that we could put that show out there? There's some great information, but it was where we were at and now where we are by just using these simple tools of accountability, of friendship and truth with each other, finding people to surround you, to lift you higher.
Emilia, can I say something right there? It's like
of course.
God will put the right people in your path, and he'll remove the ones that he needs to remove.
Absolutely.
And it's so key. And that's what I was saying earlier on. Sometimes it's right there and we take it for granted. And I'll just say right now, what a blessing I'm very thankful that you both were placed in my life.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I just had to say it, because with what you're saying right now, you're so spot on.
And Louis, we're so happy that you've gotten through this tumultuous time in your life, and we're standing pillars to help you in any way, shape, or form that we can. You know, we all stand strong for each other, and you're a blessing in our lives. And thank you.
Your guys' actions during my recovery time spoke for themselves. It's as simple as that. It's like I have a new brother and a new sister, and it's how it feels. And I know that had a lot to do with it also, knowing that you guys were there. And again, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better than what you just said right now. That's why I had to jump in there and say that. It's me talking from heart. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So I'm going to put you two on the hot seat one more time.
Put our money first.
What is your benchmark goal into taking control of the truth that you have realized? When will you understand, like, okay, now on to the next truth of mine? Do you have a benchmark goal to show you, hey, when I see this in my life, then it's time to get better in this area?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything that I've been talking about revolves around, health and my weight and all that stuff. I would say that, it within the circle, I have said, 90 days, 50 pounds. But I know as I get close to that, or as my body gets adjusted, things will open up that I probably forgot about. And so I don't know if I could answer that question. All I know is that is my goal. And whatever the next thing's going to come, it will come based on the success my short-term success.
I love that. So 50 and 90. I love it. Armani, thanks for being vulnerable to that, because, wow, you just put yourself on notice. On blast.
And if I don't do it, we got this bottle right here.
Oh,
I don't even say it.
No. We have to blur the words. We can't do that on the live show. Sorry, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. So, Louis, I'd love to hear your benchmark. You were nodding your head when I asked that question. What do you see as your benchmark to taking control over this, this truth? But really, I think it may become a goal of ours at the end of the day.
Yeah. So this morning, same thing with me, my health. I weighed myself 239.2. So I need to see that at 200 pounds by the end of June. Yeah, that's the benchmark. That's what's going to open up the door to everything else I want in my life. Because if I want to be the best version of myself, I must see this goal through. Yeah, that's the benchmark.
I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
Now both of us are looking at you.
Yeah, it's easy for me to ask the questions, but sometimes when they're asked, I get a little nervous.
Yeah, 4 eyes are looking at you right now. Well, 4 eyes and then everyone else online.
Everyone else.
With the glasses.
Yeah.
I think this question makes me more vulnerable than anything I've stated in any other podcast, and I'm almost going to cry.
Oh, wait.
I'm getting my Kleenex.
I got all the props today.
You do. when I realized I didn't have what I wanted in all of my life, I know that I'm about one thing, and it's helping people. People who don't believe in the possibility of what is possible. When I was 18 years old, I knew that I would create an organization that would help entrepreneurs thrive. And then I changed that to saying, you just don't have to be an entrepreneur to thrive. You can be anyone to thrive. And I had a dream of writing a book called The Dead Broke Millionaire. And it's about overcoming any obstacle. My benchmark is to have Dead Broke Millionaire in publication by the end of this year. And once Dead Broke Millionaire is in publication, we will then have a possibility soup kitchen for people who are just trying to better themselves, where entrepreneurs and business leaders will be able to come and share their truth and how they were able to control in their lives what was wrong and become a success, to hopefully empower people from 18 to way into their 40s, 50s, and 60s to become the best version of themselves. So it's a big, big goal. It's something that I've hid away literally in a closet for about 10 years. And it's my truth. And it's the one thing I wake up thinking about after I look at the sun. And it's the last thing I think about before I fall asleep. So that is my goal. And that's when I know it's not going to ever end, but there's my benchmark. So
That's awesome.
That's been brewing for 10 years.
pardon? Thank you.
For 10 years.
Actually, it's been, you'll get my age if I tell you how long. I started the book, writing the book 10 years ago. And it's been about 16 years since the concept was created and I started it, but just kind of, I guess when I said it, everything is possible, maybe I should have looked in the mirror and told myself that, as I told everybody else it. So it's coming.
Well, just do one thing. Promise us that when you share that with us, that it's not paperback. Okay.
It's a hard copy. I don't understand. Was that a joke?
Yes, it's a joke.
You can laugh now, Lilian.
I still don't get it. But
That's another episode then, guys.
Yeah.
but
Go to a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
So we can.
Armani, you're gonna have to explain that joke to me, or in the comments below, please explain the joke to me.
Go into the comments.
But speaking of our next episode, if you guys are cool with it, I'd love for everybody to see our growth and us to be able to launch the death episode. I know we've been looking for a time to be able to share that.
You know, that is so funny because we said that will never be released. And look what has happened. Spontaneously, you brought it up, and the setup and the before and after, I'm even interested in watching that. You know?
And guys, even if you remember, I think I don't think that's ever happened. We were all wearing black.
Yeah. Almost
we
like
all showed up in black. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you get lost in thought, but I'm literally remembering I know how I felt during that time. We'll talk about when Emilia's talking about fear. You know, it's just crazy. And now I see us here on camera, and we definitely have come a long way, guys. Yeah. Because you compare the feeling of today versus then, it's like day and night. You know, so it's crazy.
So I guess for everyone that's watching, you know, stay tuned and we'll follow all of our channels, and we'll find the best way to deliver that death episode and coincide it with whatever we're talking now, so you can see the growth and the possibilities. So it's gonna be interesting to see, guys. Maybe we should do a watch party.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a great idea to have a watch party for our next episode so we could really help you understand what we were going through and how we navigated past it. Yeah. This is a podcast where it's learning and growing with each other. Just like Lewis and I had to confront Armani and stand by him, and we're willing to do that with all of you. So
yes, definitely. And for our viewers, we were talking about this, guys, right? Think about it. How do they say? It's like when you're living in the past, it's like it equals depression, right? When you're living too much into the future, it equals anxiety. And when you're living in the moment, it's where you're at peace. And right now when we're talking about this, guys, I mean, if you're out there and you're finding yourself in this place, it's like it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you're going to finish. And we're trying to make sure that the three of us finish this life strong. So yeah.
yes.
And it's all a community effort, a team effort, a friendship effort. Just know that there's people there that are out there that are great resources, great friendships, and sometimes your best friends are the ones that are going to tell you how it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
And it is, because at the end of the day, it's just got real with you. So I would encourage all of our listeners today to follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a benchmark goal to get to by the end of this week, is to get 100+ subscribers to our YouTube channel. Please help us get to our goals. Tell your friends and family, listen in to us. We are here to support you. Love to be a part of your life and your community. Thank you so much. Until next time, we will see you soon on the other side of success. Bye-bye, everyone.
yes.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, guys.